Yo, what's good? It's your boy Ralf, and this past weekend was the Empire State Tattoo Convention, which is not the biggest in the East Coast, because I would say the biggest one is the one in Philly, which usually has like almost like over 1,000 artists. But this is definitely the most prestigious one, where this is where all the big hitters come. And I attended. Well, not only did I get a tattoo, I got a little ant by Nonnweiwr, and I attended a seminar that was by Ralf and Stefano Alcantara. I think I might have butchered his last name, but Stefano, right? So Stefano was the host of the convention, as well as Yomiko, and it was 3 floors of straight up like really amazing artists. Yeah, it was fire. It was fire. I'll show some clips, but let's go over this seminar, right? Because we're never too old to stop learning. As an artist, I feel like a tattooer, you're always going to learn. You should always be striving to learn. At some point, you need to apply what you've learned. But this is Ralf Nonnweiwr. I haven't been to this convention in 5 years, and it's changed dramatically. Because the last time I went, it was just a floor and a balcony, and now it's 3 floors. So it's huge, and it's in Midtown. And I got to see a lot of people that I truly, truly care about. A lot of people that I love, friends, mentors. I was really, really, really excited to be there. I was like a kid in the candy store. I just went there to hang out for 2 days and took advantage that this very, very affordable seminar was taking place. It was only $250, and I took Ralf Nonnweiwr's seminar literally 5 years ago, and it was over 4 hours. I already did a review on that. I can probably put a link somewhere so you can see it. And that was different. So I asked him, like, hey man, what are you doing different? Because that seminar was him tattooing. And what are you doing with Stefano? Because it was kind of vague in the description when I saw the video. But either way, I already knew there was going to be goodie bags and whatnot. And for the goodie bags alone, I would say is worth it. Plus, you're going to be in a room with like 2 icons and 2 legends in the game. Now, I would say this seminar, you got to learn a lot, right? So like I said, I feel like I'm a student of the game. I'm never going to stop learning. I always want to learn more. And especially when it comes from people who've paved the way, or like Ralf Nonnweiwr is basically known as one of the best portrait artists in the world, the most humblest person you'll ever meet. And Stefano is literally like, hello, like this guy is the guy, right? He's the rock star of the tattoo industry. He's in the book of Guinness. He's in the book of the Guinness World Records for tattooing at the highest altitude. He tattooed Maluma, and I mean, he's a rock star, bro. Like, he's got multiple shops, and he's just really amazing at whatever he does. And it was interesting because we're the same age, but he's been tattooing for 30 years. 30 years, like, damn, we're the same age. You've been tattooing 30 years. And Ralf Nonnweiwr is only an age older than me, and he's been tattooing for 17 years. So for me, it's just these little things that are like, oh, okay, because I'm judging myself against people who've been out there for decades, right? And then, yeah. So let's get to the goodie bag. All right. So this was the goodie bag. It was handed out by Camp Supply, and I merged my goodie bag. Now, I'm not gonna lie, because I kind of know Ralf Nonnweiwr, and my goodie bag's a little bit more stuff than most people that spend money on it. But yo, it is what it is. You know what I mean? My man showed me love, and I appreciate him for that. So I'll show you what the goodie bag came with first, right? So first, Stefano handed out the goodie bag. So, you know, you get a little sample of Gorilla. So I guess Gorilla's who's sponsoring him in the gloves. Got a little second skin for you to try out. And you got several samples of gloves. How many in here? Got some stickers. So I got some sample packs. And in a sample pack, I got mediums. Got 4 pairs of gloves. Listen. You gotta tell me twice. So go 4 pairs of gloves. But I got 1, 2. Now you're gonna see how bad I am in math. 3, 4, 5, 6. Well, actually, it's easy math, so that would be 24 pairs of gloves. So I got 4 pairs of, I got 24 gloves. Pretty dope. You know what I mean? So listen, so the bag was kind of light. It came with this, and it came with the sample of gloves. And I was like, all right, you know what I mean? Like, hey, you're a tattoo artist. This is what you use anyway. So, and then so that was handed out as soon as you started. And then they started going over some intro about who they are. Basically, they went from client to aftercare, right? So this was more of a Q&A. So if you sat there and asked nothing, then you only learn what they wanted to tell you. But there was somebody that just started, and he was asking every time they made a statement, he asked a question, which is great because that's what you paid for, and who better to hear from than these goats. And I felt like the information hit a little bit different for me. I don't need to see them tattooing to understand some things anymore. And now that I'm approaching 7 years, I'm going into I'm in my full stretch of 6 years of tattooing. I felt like, I wonder how this information will hit. And yeah, I learned stuff. I took my good friend Daniel, who goes under D24 Ink, and I'm gonna be honest, like I don't think he was too impressed with the seminar.
What the heck?
He said that he only learned one thing, and I gotta ask him what that one thing was, and I'm gonna get back to the video because I'm really curious what it was. But he said everything that they were talking about that I had already taught him, because I feel like, we got to share, and he's a young kid and I'm all about sharing. If you're around me, I want you to succeed. So he said he only learned one thing, and I'm kind of curious. I'm kind of upset that I didn't ask him what that one thing was. But I felt like I learned a lot of things, right? So I asked a good amount of questions. I learned a lot of things. I kind of like strengthening relationships and bonds, and it was an eye-opener for me. So let's get to Ralf Nonnweiwr's goodie bag, and if you saw my last review, it's no different. So first, this is the initial goodie bag, right? So if you don't know already, Ralf Nonnweiwr is sponsored by Panthera Ink, but there's some new stuff, right? So he's been sponsoring. This is like a side project of his that he's really proud of, and he talked about that he wanted to do something else besides tattooing, but stay within the tattooing industry. And this is called Tat Fat, right? It's called Ralf Nonnweiwr's Tat Fat. It's got a little wax seal at the end. Like, look, ooh, how official! It's official tissue. Look at that little piece of the wax started breaking off. But I wonder if this is in the can. So I'm just gonna open it now. Actually, I'm curious. I don't know if there's more in here, but I'm gonna open it now. So this is supposed to be. Oh, it is in the can. All right, so this is what he uses, right? So one thing I learned about Ralf Nonnweiwr is that he is the reason why I dry wipe, and he's a big advocate about dry wiping, right? So this is in German, so I will, but it's also in English. It says, apply a very thin layer of Ralf Nonnweiwr's about 10 days, for about 10 days, 2 to 3. So it's something that you can do after your tattoo, but he also uses it for tattooing. And if I am correct, he did say this is like from, it says seed oil, buttercrever, some crap, parfum, and I don't know. Y'all figure that shit out. I ain't trying to butcher it. I'm the worst at pronouncing things. So take a screenshot. But I think this one he says that this has something to do with bees. But it's German made, so it's most likely some good shit. Also, which wasn't in part of his first seminar because that didn't exist, is an aftercare spray, ink trucks with panthenol. Okay, aftercare spray. How to shake well, use, dispense directly onto the skin, allow it to get absorbed, store in cool place. Okay. It's got all kinds of stuff in it. Again, take a screenshot or Google it, look it up. Oh, here's another cool little thing. This seems like another soapish stuff. Tattoo Care Cream. This is by Unistar. Tattoo Care Cream by Unistar. I don't know what that means. I'm kind of curious. Oh, it's literally a cream. So I don't know what it means, but yeah, I know what it means. It's a fucking cream. It smells like a nice lotion, like some kind of oil Olay or something. Ooh. Actually smells really nice. I should probably peel this off. So this was done on Friday. It is now Thursday. So I'll probably take it off tonight in the shower and apply some tattoo cream. Okay, get yourself a little quadrant lanyard. I believe last time it was a lanyard by Panthera. And the always amazing, very expensive. So if you don't know, if you don't use quadrants, I mean, quadrants used to be really hard to get. Now you're able to get them a lot more, but the average box of quadrants is about, I want to say at least $32. At least $32. Right? Yes, and they're very good, right? So 15 curve mag here. 9 straight mag. 7 shader. 5 round liner, tight. Some stickers, because I'm a stickerhead. And we got a big box here. What is this? Oh, okay. And now Unistar. A whole thing of what we call in the game second skin, a roll. Listen. So this alone, right? So I'm thinking this alone on the low, even if you order on Amazon, you're probably going to pay about, on the cheap end, $15, but this is pretty thick. This looks like maybe 5 yards worth, or 6 even. It's on centimeters, so I wouldn't be able to know to tell you what the hell, how far this shit is. It says 10 millimeters by 15 centimeters. But anyway, this is definitely getting used. So this is a really good goodie bag. I think last time it was 2 boxes of quadrants. And got some Stefano stickers, because he's been in the game 30 years. And that's it. Now, because me and him are kind of cool, I did get some more stuff, right? So then I got a Panthera bag with the lanyard. Oh, I got 2 lanyards. And he gave me 4 he gave me 4 inks of his triple black, but of course I wasn't alone, so I'm gonna share, because sharing is caring. So I gave 2 to my boy, and yeah, so triple black, you never go wrong with some black. So yeah, so I'm gonna say here alone, a roll from Gorilla, Scentsy wrap, won't go to waste. Which, I mean, you're not really going for the goodie bags, but I already know there's a goodie bag, so you know you're on a budget. Oh, I almost forgot. Plus, you know, again, because we got relationships, got a whole box of gloves right here. Latex exam gloves, large. So I'm gonna say probably here. This is at least 20 needles over here. So a box of 32 inks, 32, 40, 50. You probably got maybe close to $80 in supplies, right? So, you know, take that away from $250. Yeah, you got about $80 in supplies. And then I did go visit my boy who gave me some samples. He got his own shop of Avia Premium cartridges. Not part of this, but got some more needles to try out. Some 5 ride liners. So yeah, so this is the spread. I thought it was pretty cool. And, you know, one thing I learned about Ralf Nonnweiwr is that he changed his technique, right? So now he is just only using black. Well, obviously he has his other inks, which I'll go get because I'm in my studio. So Ralf has finished the finish and the blend, which to be honest, it has been savior for me. I love using these. Anybody I put on loves to use them. If you're going for the nice soft black and gray, but this is a really slow build up, right? Especially the finish is super light. But this is how he gets these portraits, right? And this is what I saw him use during the last seminar. But now he is only using black, straight black. He says he's only using one cap of black. And I watched him tattoo someone. He was tattooing, I don't remember the person he was tattooing, but he was tattooing a client on the calf, and he only had one ink cap. And I was like, oh wow. So it just shows, one, you got to be patient, and the length of time that he was doing it to build it up, and just a lot of hand control. You know, I thought it was pretty cool, and I was really impressed to hear Stefano's story. 30 years in the game, so I mean, he was around when he had to build shit. He had to build needles. He knows how to make inks, and just hearing him not say no, he has great customer service skills. So he takes on anything. Like Ralf Nonnweiwr say no to a client if it's not the right image and the right placement. Stefano will do the best he can to caress that client to where he needs him to be so that they can have the best tattoo. Stefano definitely, I was very interested to see, because to me, I felt like, one, not only is he like the rock star of the industry, I felt like he's the face of the wave of the whole South America, right? So then came the artists from Venezuela like Yomiko and Darwin and all these other cats like Zimfo that are blowing up in the game. That pretty much the whole Ink Nation studio in New York City. And he's just really great. And then he talked about how he stopped doing cover-ups for a while, but now he's doing cover-ups because he likes the challenge. And just, yeah, it was just going over aftercare, going over the client, going over pricing for us to know our worth. And that's something that I wish I didn't struggle in, but real talk, I do struggle with it. I have a rate, and I rarely charge my rate. And when I did charge my rate, I loved it. And I don't know why. Just I'm such a, I don't even want to call it a sucker, or just like you tell me a sob story, and I'm like, damn, how could I help? But then again, tattooing is a luxury, right? And so I'll probably do something a little bit more in depth, or I'll take a screenshot of my notes. How about that? I take a lot of notes. I have my original apprentice book, and I took some notes, and I'll add that to it, or I'll just add bullet points of what I learned, even quotes that Stefano had given. But besides that, I would say that was it. So that was the seminar. This was the goodie bag if you signed up. $250, bro. Like, you can't go wrong. Like, and then after that, there was a discussion panel that had Yomiko, Stefano, Ralf Nonnweiwr, and John Nelson. Who, if you don't know who John Nelson is, he's on Instagram. He does all these amazing educational videos on trends and whatnot, and very well spoken. That's what I can really say. Very well spoken, and talking to the industry, talking to everything. It was interesting to hear Ralf talk about how the war with Russia and Ukraine is impacting tattoo artists in Germany, because all the artists are flooding to Germany and are kind of underpricing everyone else, and they're all at an amazing level. It was interesting to hear, John Nelson about how he manages his shop. Stefano, how he manages his shops, right? So he's like, hey, it's got to run this way, and I don't want to know the business, the day-to-day. I just want to come in and do what I got to do. So it was really good. And I feel like if you could ever be around someone who's done what you're trying to get to, you should hang out with them. You should hear them out. You should just listen, ask questions. A lot of these artists are very welcoming and humbling. This is not your old school, traditional hard guys. These are the guys that are groundbreaking and doing something different with tattooing and taking tattooing to another level. Well, appreciate you watching. Thank you. Peace. Yo, so I wanted to follow up from my other video because I've been using the samples and my math was way off and they're not a matching pair. So this is truly so you can try out. And I've been using them for the last 2 days. So they're actually small, medium. Well, you know what? I just pulled the sample out right now. small, medium, and I'm assuming this might be a large. But I've had some that have had small, medium, large, and extra large in them. And I've been cramping my sausage fingers in these and been using them. But they're pretty good. They're pretty good. I mean, be nice if they were the same size, but I guess this makes sense because you have something for everyone. But I've been using them to clean and set up with my clients and whatnot. One glove's super tight, one is not. And the second skin that I got on my tattoo by Nonnweiwr came off, and I figured, hey, right now is a great time to try out this aftercare. So this is an aftercare spray, and this was a cream. I don't know if I want to try a spray. You know what? I'm gonna go with the cream because the cream had like a nice little smell to it. So we're gonna try this Unistar cream. Comes out really, as you can see right there. Why not? I don't think I've ever used I haven't gotten tatted in a minute. So I was gonna say I don't think I used aftercare, but it's been a while since I've got a tattoo. This is actually my first tattoo like in 2 years. But back to my notes, right? Because I take copious notes, and this is actually my original apprentice book, and all my drawings and everything in it, all my notes and all the lessons learned. And look, my original Ralf Nonnweiwr certificate and people that I looked up to and things that I learned and all kinds of stuff. And either way, this is the book that I use. To this day, I've got a few pages left, so I want to make sure I make them count. And I took my notes that day, and I did ask my friend, I called them, and I said, hey man, so what was it that one thing that you learned? And the one thing that he learned is about what Ralf Nonnweiwr said, that he just uses black. So yeah, it's kind of a big deal. Because that'll put him, and I don't know for a fact, like there's another artist that I love, Kelly Violent out of Ireland. She's badass. I think she only uses black, but it kind of shows too in her style. It's kind of like a brush, and it's all about pressure. So that's what he said he learned, but I learned a few things, and I wanted to just let you know, like, bro, like 250, you can't go wrong with 250. You ain't got 250, bro, to get some knowledge, then shit, you're always going to be starving. You're going to stay at whatever level you at. But I learned a few things. One was Ralf Nonnweiwr shared his picture taking techniques of just creating the triangle. Stefano dropped a piece of knowledge. So I don't use white for highlights because I learned through my many other courses that I've taken, like through like Andy Foe, like, hey, you shouldn't need white. You should leave the space. The skin should be the highlight and stuff like that. But then Stefano took it one step further, and he says, I put white only in the pupil of the eye because if you don't know, tattoos with time age and expand, right? So with years, they expand. So he's like, if I don't put that little white in that dot where it belongs, then it's just going to close. So that white fills the gap where the other ink would normally fill in. And I was like, oh shit, like I visualized that to the T. And that to me is just straight knowledge with an explanation as to why you would put the white in something, right? You're filling in that pore, you're filling in that piece of skin so it can last. So I thought that was pretty dope. You know what? They also dropped another dope piece of knowledge, and it was on a website which I have not checked yet. And it was, where is it here? Boom, 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 boom. References. Choosing references, right? And then he talked about there's like, I guess websites that do stuff for movies, right? They just capture generic or just capture scenes in a movie. So the subjects actually, let me just give you the subjects, right? I apologize if I'm all over the place, but I'll try to clean it up during the editing process. So they talked about black and gray and why. They talked about preparing, planning, and the pre-education or the production, like everything it takes place, which means like references, stencils, needles, machines, ink, setup, start tattooing, the process, finish tattooing, and aftercare. Then they talked about choosing the reference and what kind of reference. A good reference, you can take your own photo, adjusting the reference to make sure there's a perfect balance. Something about the customer, right? Don't be afraid to say no to clients. Or, like Stefano said, he'll find a way to get the client to say yes to his version of the style. Then the stencil, right? They both talked about if you can't see the expression in the stencil, then you won't see it in the tattoo. What else? What else he went over? Different ways to reach a goal. Making yourself comfortable. What else? What else? Texture and shading. They talked about. Then they talked about aftercare, right? 50% is you and 50% is the client. So those are kind of the things that they talked about. And I asked like 2 questions. I think I might have asked more than 2 questions. But my main questions that I really wanted to know for this convention was like, these are, to me, what I see as the GOATs, right? These are the big people in the game. Ralf Nonnweiwr's portrait. And Stefano, like, to be honest, like, I knew about Stefano before I even knew his work. I just knew Stefano was like, hey, it's Stefano. Like, you know what I mean? You heard about Stefano? And yeah, I just know about him before I even know his work. Then I started looking into his work and I was like, oh, this motherfucker's dope. Like, he does a lot. Like, he's not a one-trick pony. He does a lot of different things. Like, his black and gray with the opaques is fucking dope. Like, you know, hyper realism. Like, he's pretty dope. And the fact that he has the longevity and he's self-taught. For anybody who thinks that you need to be spoon-fed, this fucking guy is self-taught. But I wanted to know, who are they looking at, right? Because they're both people that are striving to get better. And are not comfortable, and they just like to stay uncomfortable, and they want to keep pushing each other further. So I want to know who they were looking at. And Stefano is looking at Robert Hernandez. That's who he's looking at. And then Ralf Nonnweiwr is looking at Bob Terrell. And one thing I learned about Bob Terrell is like that I found out during this seminar, which is for me is aspiring. And now I ended up buying a Bob Terrell book, is because one, I just thought he was one of the GOATs because I heard his name all the time. I seen him in Tattoo Nation movie. You hear about him everywhere. Bob Terrell, Bob Terrell, Bob Terrell. He's got his own inks. He's got everything. You know, cool dude with a beard. And, you know, he looks like a old school traditional tattoo kind of a guy until you see his work and it's like, oh, this motherfucker's very finessing. But what really inspired me is that Bob Terrell did not start tattooing until he was 40. Your boy started tattooing at 40, right? So that's when I started. And I feel like an old person, but I'm new to the game, but I feel old because I'm older than most everybody around me. But that was very inspiring, you know? So Bob Terrell now is like in his late 60s or early 60s. And like, I'm going to give me a Bob Terrell tattoo because I got to learn more from him. I need to know how he got to this level. But yep, that's what I learned. Just wanted to follow up.